Okay, so I'm going to introduce you to why sales don't need to be scary. So today we're talking about sales, which I know for those of us who are, we've probably got all sorts of feelings about sales. Think about the words that come to you right now. Perhaps they're slimy, sleazy, icky. Perhaps you've had some really bad sales experiences being on the other end of being sold to in a really not a very nice, not very ethical way, perhaps in a manipulative way. And we are not about any of that. I want to really encourage you to change your mindset and your feeling about sales, because without sales, you don't have a business. Okay. You have to sell. There's nothing you can do about it. If you want to run your own business, you have to sell. So we've got to find a way of being all right with selling. And more than that, hopefully even loving selling and enjoying selling what you have on offer. So that's your challenge for today, is to really think about that. And if you already feel like that about sales, then brilliant, that's great, it's really, really good. But many of us have got a lot of conditioning and history and kind of stories around it that make us really feel uncomfortable about it. Sales isn't necessarily about, it's not trying to about tricking somebody or persuading anybody, even in a way that we can persuade people. We don't want to do it in an unethical way or in a way that we're going to manipulate them or make stuff up or, use those kind of sort of underhand and not very nice tactics. That's not what this is about. Sales is about communicating and building relationships with people so that they get to know you, they get to understand what you have on offer, and then they can make a choice whether it's going to be the right thing for them or not. We started working on this particularly on day one when we thought about our ideal client and what they really want. And I'm sure lots of you could see that you do have what on offer, what your ideal client wants. And if you didn't, I'm sure you'll maybe changing it and looking at adapting what you offer. So you guys are already good communicators. And the reason I know that is because you're in the birth and baby world. You are about relationships. You're about building up connections. You love being with people, talking to people. And those are the skills of a good salesperson. That is what it is. Sorry, there's a lot going on, isn't there? Okay. Yeah, okay. Kerry's saying she always thinks of it like offering the dessert menu and then it's up to them to choose it. Yeah, exactly. We're not, and so that's what we're doing. We're offering, we're telling. But if we don't tell people what we've got on offer, if we don't let them get to know us, if we don't let them get to know our brand, our company, our values, and what we actually have, then they're not going to buy from us because they're going to go elsewhere. Okay, so think of sales as the next step in relationship that's building. So we talked yesterday, didn't we, about building a relationship, starting off those lines of communications. We had a go at how we were going to start those that communication up more, whether it's breadcrumbing in groups where we're sort of replying to people's messages and they're getting to know us, whether it's going and sending direct messages to people and getting to know them better on that level, or whether it is going and speaking somewhere or whatever it is that you're doing for your audience building. This is the next step. This is when you are like, you know what, I think what I've got would be a really good fit for this person. And they've already told me that they have this problem or they have this need that I can help solve. So you're sure that, or you're fairly confident that this is a good fit for them. Okay. And then sales is the next step. So you're having a conversation, they're letting them know that you have something on offer that could help them. And just remember, I want you to always bear this in mind. When somebody has taken a step towards you, when they have signed up to your freebie, when they have inquired about your class on email, when they have, I don't know, even when they've clicked on your website, they have taken a step towards you. They've already said to you, not verbally necessarily, I am interested in you and what you have to offer. So I want you to always remember that, because I think sometimes we can get scared about, oh, I'm bothering them too much, or I'm talking to them too, I'm hassling people. You're not. They took a step towards you. They've already shown you that they're interested in what you have on offer.
Okay, here is, we can call it like a list or a checklist or a way that you can feel confident that the person that you want to sell to, or the inquiry that you've been nurturing, is ready for you to sell to. So this is what we call qualifying. So this works particularly well if you are a business who usually speaks to the people that sign up. So that's quite typical with a hypnobirthing business or a doula, in lots of different areas of the birth and baby business world. But if you are a business where people normally go on your website and they just book onto your course or your class, then this is still relevant, because you can apply this to like the website copy, you know. So what are they getting all of this information from the website copy? Not all of them will be 100% applicable there, but if we're working with somebody as an individual and we're thinking, I really want this person to book my one-to-one class, or, you know, my doula package, or, you know, whatever it is that you're selling, then these are really good things for you to go through. So is this person, you know, if we were really salespeople, we'd be calling them prospects. So is this prospect, but is this potential client that clear on what they're going to gain from working with you? You know, do they know that what you offer them is going to help with their problem? Like, that's super important. If they don't understand what they're going to gain, or how they're going to transform, or how it's going to change their issues or resolve their problems, then they're probably not ready to buy from you. So get clear on that. And that's really why we started this experience, the festival experience, with looking at the ideal client and working out, you know, who they were, and doing the empathy map, so we can get a real understanding of what they want and need, so we can communicate what they're going to gain from working with us. So then, are they an ideal client? Do you actually want to work with them? And can you actually help them? Like, this is really important. I know sometimes we kind of get into that kind of like, oh, just any client, I just want to sign somebody up, you know, I need the income and I can help anybody who's pregnant. And then you might end up having like a bit of a nightmare situation, because it's just not the right client for you, or perhaps you're just not the right fit. Or, you know, be honest, maybe you don't have the right skills to support this individual's issue. So it's really important to be clear on whether they are an ideal fit. And what are the results that they are looking for, and can you deliver those results? So similar to what I was saying before, we want to be clear on what it is that they want to experience, or that they want to achieve. You know, so for example, if they were doing a hypnobirthing course, for example, and they were like, you know, oh, I want to have a pain-free birth, that's why I'm signing up to you, you know. So it's then, you're, depending on how you've been trained in terms of hypnobirthing, it's important for you to communicate to them what hypnobirthing is actually going to help them with, so that they aren't left feeling that they haven't achieved what it is that they wanted to achieve. So do they know that you can help them? So a really great way of helping them understand that you can actually help them is to show them evidence. So that could be testimonials, it could be reviews, it could be shared stories of client success, like it could be birth stories, for example. But it could be, you know, any kind of communication that you've had from past clients. Something that works great is like if a client has sent you a message saying that they loved working with you, they really enjoyed like your baby massage class, really helped them to meet new friends, connect with their baby, like taking a screenshot of that, and with permission, of course, and you can always blank out the name if they want to be anonymous, just really helps to show your potential clients that, you know, what you do really works and it really, really helps people. That can go on your website, it can go and see social media, it can go on like a brochure if you want to have that kind of formality in your business, or you can just send it to them, you know, like, oh, I worked with this client a few weeks ago and this is what she sent me today, it made me think of you, so I thought I would just send it over to you. So all the time we're helping them along the way to making the decision that if we do feel like they're a right fit, that, you know, we're the right person for them to work with. We also want to understand, can they commit, or, you know, is there an element that they need to get agreement from someone else before they pay? So it might be that they need like their partner or their husband, or, you know, someone who's maybe involved financially to agree to make the financial commitment, or it might be a time commitment, but you should be able to start understanding what their commitment situation is like if you have been communicating and chatting to them. And are they ready to join and sign up now? Like, when would they like to get started? You know, that's a question I always ask in my sales calls for my hypnobirthing training is like, great, you sound like a perfect fit. So like, when do you want to get started? I've got a course coming up in July, or I've got one coming up in September. And just like put it to them, like, when are they ready? Are they really serious? Do they want to do this? And then if you can tick all of those boxes, it really is time to make your offer. It's time to, as we say, another kind of very sort of salesy word, it's time to close them and get that financial commitment, which could be in the form of a deposit or maybe a full payment.
Yeah, and I think the other thing to say about this, if you are having bookings through your website, and you're not necessarily having a lot of one-to-one contact, or you're not making a sale through a one-to-one contact with people, this is exactly the sort of information and conversation you want to be having on your web page, on the booking page, so they can understand all of these things, and they can almost qualify themselves through your copy, through what you've written, so they can find out, yeah, this actually is for me because I tick all these boxes. So that makes sense. So this could also be a useful list for you for when you're writing sales pages, and when you're writing or when you're writing a page about an offer that you have. And this is in your workbook as well, so you have got that.
Okay, so information that you're going to need if you are actually ready to sell to someone. So really have your main offer in mind, and remind yourself of what the transformation is. So whenever I'm going on a sales call, and I have them, regularly throughout the week for the Calm Birth School. Before I speak to someone, I always tune in and I think, well, I know that what they've come towards me, so they obviously they're interested in hypnobirthing training. And I know that what I have to offer is, it's really good quality. It's going to be an amazing learning experience. So I'm just going through my head all the things like, I can really help this person. Just got to make sure they're a right fit and that they're ready to do it, and get myself like in the kind of zone and ready to put that offer to them. And I am not a hard seller at all. I basically go on a sales call and I ask them a question and I let them speak to me. And while they are speaking and communicating, I can go through that qualifying list and think, okay, yeah, got that. And then anything that I think, oh, I'm not sure if they're really aware of the value here, or maybe I need to tell them about the experience that one of my trainees had, etc., I can kind of interject that into the conversation. And then it's also really important that you are ready, that you're prepared, that you've got the booking link, or if it's like a more information link ready to send to them. So you want to be on it as soon as you've had that conversation, or whilst you're on the phone to them, WhatsApp them or email them over that information so that you are right on it and they can access the information to book, or to, if they need to find out more, straight away, so we're not kind of delaying anything.
Yeah, and this is relevant to if you book through emails, like if you've got an email inquiry as well, or if you're texting people. Like, I know a lot of people in the lactation world, we wouldn't have sales calls with people, but we would have an email from them, or a text. So again, it's just remembering we don't want to be saying to somebody, oh yeah, we'll just book, we want to make it easy for them. If you have qualified them, or if you've done that sort of checklist in your head, like, yeah, this is a really good fit for this person, send them the link to book. Make booking really, really easy for them. Send them a link to more information. Don't just say, oh, feel free to book with me anytime. Be really, so that when we say have stuff ready, we mean for any eventuality, have this ready at your fingertips so that you can make it as easy for them as possible, because they might have found you on social media, but they may not have come across your website or that particular page or whatever it is. So just, make the path very, very simple. Laura is saying, what is the best booking platform? They're all good, honestly. I mean, I've used Acuity and now I use Dubsado. The reason I use Dubsado is because I can house all of my clinical notes in there as well, and also all of my students. But there's people use Calendly, people use what are the other ones? Bookwhen, I think, is one on. Yeah. There's loads, and
Bookwhen's quite popular, isn't it?
Sorry, what is?
Bookwen is quite popular.
Yeah, they adapt into your website, so you just have to get a bit of code and put your website so they can pop up, and then you can have a link for every service you have that you can share with people. So that's what I've got. I've got for all of my businesses, I've got a document that I keep on my phone, and when anyone texts me or something, I've got just right on there on my phone. If I'm out and about, I can send them a link straight away to book with me, whatever service that might be, whether it's the mindful breastfeeding school, whether it's a parent, whether it's whatever it is, so that I'm just always ready to send them and make that really, really easy for them. Oh, Ticket Taylor and Even Bright, yeah, all good. There's really so many out there. They're much for muchness. So find the one that's going to suit you and for the sort of service that you run. Sorry, slides are being very. Okay, there we go.
Okay, so action. Are you ready for this? We want you to have a think about who are your warmest potential clients right now. Who are the people that have come towards you recently, that have communicated with you? It could be on maybe in the DMs. It could be via email. It could be that you've had a phone call, you've had a conversation with them. Write down who those warm potential clients are. And what we would really like you to do is to send a message to them about what your offer is. I mean, maybe you've been kind of talking about potentially them booking onto a course with you. Just try to keep the language more assertive rather than passive. And yeah, just put it out there. And just wanted to remind you, I've got a course starting on this date. Are you ready to sign up and see if they're ready to do it? See if they're ready to take the action, and send that to as many of those warm inquiries that you have. Let's we can't expect people to book unless we're asking them to, unless we're giving the instruction.
We're actually going to give you a couple of minutes to do that right now, because we've done this before, where we've done this in real time. You can send a message to somebody and they might ignore you, but when you send a message to 5 people or 10 people in that moment, not all of them are going to come back to you, but some of them might. So we're just going to give you a couple of minutes to do that, to message some people that are at the top of your head and share the offer or an offer with them. Liz and I have done this in real time before and in an event, and it's worked really, really well for us. In fact, we've done it a few times. So we'll just give you a couple of minutes to send a message to as many people as you can that are in that warm list now about what you have on offer.
So in response to Ruth's message there, what if there are no warm leads? So I would just really encourage you. I know a lot of people forget to do this, but go through your emails for the last few months. Like, I know obviously if you're working in a kind of antenatal education capacity, then we are on a quick turnaround, and also with breastfeeding, etc. So but have a look over the past few months in your emails to see, who was it that reached out and inquired and never came back. Look through your DMs, your text messages, your WhatsApps, everywhere. Like, I go through, and it's different because it is like training and it's not pregnancy, but I go back to previous inquiries very, very regularly. If they haven't told me no, then I keep going back to them and asking them if they're now ready to book. And it does work. So yes, so go back and look through those previous inquiries, and you should keep, if you can, keep a spreadsheet of them or a note of people who've reached out to you, because we forget, even though we feel like this is the most important thing, like making sales and, getting those leads, we often forget that, oh, this person got in touch with me a couple of months ago and I haven't heard from them. So, they would be a warm lead for you to reach out to. And if you don't have anything like that, then the best thing to do is to keep working on generating those leads. So the things that we gave yesterday are very, they're like quick action things. The breadcrumbing is something that you do, you have to keep doing. But the others were quite quick action things. So keep on doing those. And then also, as Anna was saying a little bit earlier, one of those kind of more longer term, semi-passive actions that we can have in the background would be our freebies and our nurture sequence that can just be there on your website or on your social media, that you have to keep promoting on your social media to get anyone to sign up. And that can help to generate the leads as well. And that should be like your focus on social media should be to generate leads, definitely.
Yeah, another thing you can do as a quick thing, if you don't have sort of individuals in mind, is you can just, I mean, it's not a direct sales thing, but you can just hop on your emails and send your list, or anyone in your email list, if you've got one, you know, a message about what you've got coming up, and that you're taking bookings today, or you're booking in phone calls today, for sales calls. So there's lots of different ideas that you can do, and it can be really helpful just to sort of make that decision. I'm going to reach out to people and tell them I've got an offer today, and yeah, and take that action. All right, I'm going to move on. I can. Okay, so what else? Well, this is leading on to what I've just been talking about, really. Where else can we ask for the sale other than in a direct message or an email? So, as I've said already, looking at all our email inquiries, Liz has actually gone over a lot of this already, looking at our text inquiries, looking back over our social media inquiries, because we do forget, and we may have had comments on, you know, we may have missed opportunities. Someone might have come into our inbox on Instagram about a post that we did, and we have actually kind of missed an opportunity to, you know, to grow that lead. It might be they're telling us about a bit of a problem. Maybe sometimes when people come into my inbox with the problem, I'm a bit like irritated, you know. And actually that's in all honesty, but that's partly because I've got so many different businesses and I'm not necessarily always supporting parents anymore. But sometimes I'm like, oh, you know, but this is an opportunity. It's not an opportunity. And I think the thing is with lactation particularly is like, I can't support somebody in my inbox. I can't, it's not ethical for me to give someone breastfeeding advice in a in a text. I can't do it. I have to have a whole history, and it's quite complicated. So I think that's probably why. But this can be a great opportunity, and I'm not always that irritated. I often do take it to kind of think about, okay, well, here's what I have on offer and here's how I can help you. But where has someone just come and commented on your post, come and sent you a message, or even just said, I love what you're doing? These are opportunities to grow that lead, to build up that conversation. I'm not saying like as soon as someone messages you and saying, oh, I love this post, you should be like, this is what I'm selling right now, come and join in. You know, obviously we've got to warm them up. We're not going to just jump straight into them. We've got to warm them up. We've got to think about these as normal relationships, everyday relationships that we would have in real life. And we wouldn't just go up to anyone in the street who smiled at us and, you know, told them what we've got for sale, would we? So you've got to kind of be, you know, realistic about it. But that sort of, you know, making sure we're not missing those opportunities and that we're building relationships through those conversations. Because again, that's someone taking that step towards you, telling you that you like what they like what you do, that they're interested in what you have on offer. These are opportunities to take up. So social media inquiries, I think, are a big one that a lot of us miss. Who can you work with in real life? So again, thinking about these free groups that lots of you that you run. So I know there's people who do walks. I know there's people that run breastfeeding groups, people who do all sorts of things. You know, these are all lead generating activities. Make sure that there's a way of these people knowing what you have on offer. Is it going to be on flyers? Have you got like a QR code up somewhere that people can just snap and see what you have on offer when they leave or when they arrive? You know, are you making it explicit? I mean, I'm not talking about making something into a massive like conference style sales fest, but make it easy for people to work with you if they're enjoying what you have on offer and how you're helping them. And then calls to action is so important. So I keep saying this, make it easy. And that's what a call to action is. It's a next step. So when we send an email reply to somebody to an inquiry with a link to how they can book or find out more, that's a call to action. We're making it easy for them to take the next step with us. When we write Facebook posts, you should never, ever, I don't like the word should, but always put a call to action at the end of a post. Always, you've got nothing to lose, even if it's, you know, there'll always be a link to something you have on offer. So any post you're doing, even if it's a complete value post or just sharing a picture, just a little PS, did you know I have this on? Or PS, come and find us here. If you go and look at the Babba Instagram, you'll see we always do a call to action at the end. Sometimes it's towards our freebie, sometimes it's more explicit, like to the festival. But there is always a call to action. If you're not putting calls to action at the end of every single social media post, again, you're missing that opportunity, because if somebody has taken the time to read right through that post and read everything that you've written, they've already taken a step towards you. So why not then take that opportunity to show them how they could carry on, how they could work with you if they wanted to. And this is the same for emails, your website. Make it really, really easy and really obvious how people can book with you. Go on, Liz, do you want to say something?
I just want to say, like sometimes we get people saying to us, like either in our DMs, or it could be members saying, I talk about my classes or my groups or whatever, or my offer on social media all the time, or in stories or whatever, but nobody books. And then if Anna and I go for like a quick look, we're kind of like, hang on a minute, like you might feel like you're talking about it, but to somebody who's not you, it doesn't look like you are, so you might feel like, oh God, I can't do another post asking people, telling people about my course or telling people about like what I offer, because like they'll get bored of me or whatever. But you have to do it over and over and over again. I mean, for this festival, we put posts out twice a day most of the time. We were talking about it in stories, we were sending emails out. I mean, maybe some of you were like, oh, leave me alone, but we want as many people to access this as possible. So we just keep doing it. And then the other thing is that although you might be talking about your offer, you might think, oh, I am talking about my offer though, Anna says, I need to be posting about what I offer. You're probably not putting the call to action, as Anna was saying there. So people need to know what to do next. Like if you think about us all as children, we need to be told what we're supposed to do next. People don't want to go and research like, oh, I really like her. Oh, I'm going to go on Google and find her, and then I'm going to go. They won't do it. They'll just go to somebody who makes the booking process really, really easy. So that's why you need to, from sale to booking, all the way through, all your onboarding, all your customer journey needs to be like super, super easy so that you don't lose them at some point.
Yeah. Okay, we're just going to wrap this session up with talking about boundaries. So I think this is so important. And I think, we've been talking about being in touch with people a lot, contacting people a lot, and being in people's spaces a lot. And, it is obviously important that we put boundaries in, and that goes both ways. So objections are really normal. So what we mean by an objection is somebody will give you a reason that they don't want to buy. So let's say you're in a conversation with someone on a text or an email, and you might say, are you interested in booking? And they'll come back with an objection. So it could be something like, oh, I don't think I have the time for this right now, or I don't know if I've got the money for this right now. This is our opportunity to talk to them about it and talk to them about, what's the reality of the time? Like, for example, if you get the support now, will it save time later? Like, can you afford not to, will this save time down the line, for example? Or perhaps they think something's going to be massively time consuming and overwhelming, and you can say, actually, it's only going to take, I don't know, whatever it is, an hour a week. Do you think you could find that? So that kind of thing. Money objections also, usually, not always, but often not the real reason that somebody won't buy. That can be the real reason, but often we say money, and what it really means is we don't trust and believe that that product or that service is actually going to give us the results we want. So as a seller, I haven't done my job to convey how my product or service really helps them. If they're saying that, let's say it's a £50 workshop, people will say for a £50 workshop, I haven't got the money, okay? Or even a smaller amount of money, sometimes a £15 product says I can't afford it. What they're really saying is, I'm not willing to spend £15 on what you're offering. That's which sounds a bit harsh and painful to hear, if we were to look at the underlying reason, but that's the truth of it. We have not conveyed enough to them how beneficial this is. We know that people spend huge amounts of money on baby products, on things they'll probably never even use. So we know that many people do have the money for what we have on offer, but what they don't believe is that it can help them really solve their problems. And that's where this ideal client stuff comes in, the empathy map, the communication. it becomes so, so important. So, I mean, we could have a whole talk about money and sales, but we don't really have time for that today. But I just wanted to say that objections are normal. What I'm not telling you to do is not kind of discuss their objections with them or discuss their worries and their fears about buying your product. I think that's a really important part of sales. Okay, however, when it comes to someone saying, no, I am not interested in what you have to offer, then obviously we want to take that at face value and be like, okay, that's no problem. I'm not going to offer, I'm not going to bother you again. If someone says, can you please unsubscribe me from your email list? Of course, we're going to do that. We're not going to argue with them. So when someone says a clear no, we take it as a no. We don't badger them. Obviously we've all had, I'm sure, sales experiences like that in our lives where even when we've said no, people have carried on bothering us, and it's not a nice feeling. So let's not be that person. I'm sure none of you would be anyway. We want to be really careful not oversharing. We're not here in a sales conversation or in a lead building conversation to give away everything. Yes, we do need to share value. We don't want to just be selling all the time. We do need to share some of what we know. And there's lots of different schools of thought about this. Some people would say, teach them the
what
not the how. So teach them what they need to know, but not how they need to do it, is one example. I've also had somebody say to me, you share 5% of what you know, the rest. This is something you're going to have to just figure out for yourselves. How much is the right amount to share in your posts, in your conversations, in your freebies? Like, you might think, Liz, we're sharing quite a lot here this 3 days, for you to come into a £25 membership. And we are sharing a lot because we know that this is part of our sales process. Let's just be completely open and honest about it. We want to give you as much as we can because we want to show you what we can help you with, how we can support you, for you to get to know us. We're happy. We don't feel like we're oversharing. But let's say, for example, we just gave you free access to everything, to the whole membership, and then expected you then after a month to start paying for it, for example. Or I don't know, I'm trying to think of a better example. Or for a lactation consultant, I helped somebody on a text and basically resolved all their problems for them and then said, do you want to book? Do you know what I mean? We just have to, I think it's for you to figure out with your service and your offer and what you have, to be able to decide what is going to be too much and not too little. But if you're feeling resentful, if you're feeling like you're giving a lot of support in your texts, your messages, your emails, and people still aren't booking with you, that is a sign that you're probably giving away too much and you're oversharing the help, and that you need to choose your boundary for how much help you give and you don't. And I've already said to you with my lactation work, I do not give lactation support over text for that reason, but also because it's just not very safe. So decide on your boundaries with this, and they may change and shift a little bit over time. And then you're always going to have the odd person who just really wants everything from you for free. Okay, the peer person is just going to keep coming back to you, and you're going to have to be very firm with your boundaries and say, I'd love to help you with this. I really want to continue supporting you with this, but you're going to have to book into so and so or so. And so that's how I can work with you in the best way. So you've got to be ready for those advantage takers, people who might really take advantage of your generosity and your willingness to share. And again, look out for those feelings of resentment in yourself. If you're feeling that, then this is time to put in a boundary and say enough, and this is how you can work with me. And just remember that all conversations are a positive step. So if someone's got back to you but they haven't booked, that's not a bad thing. They're in your community, or they're in your atmosphere, if you like, and you can keep sharing with them. They might book later or another time, or even if they don't, they might tell a friend or relative or somebody else about you. So see all of these conversations and interactions as a positive step.